Everybody, this is Jared today. Oh, hang on, we're gonna give it another second. I am in my car. It just said reconnecting, so I'm gonna give it another second just to make sure everything catches up to speed. If you guys are watching me here live, comment live. If you guys are watching me here via replay, comment replay. Just 'cause I want to give everything a chance to start spinning up because I think there was a connection issue there. What I want to share with you guys here today is something really cool. It's how I lost over 80 pounds in pretty much a year or less, but I didn't really put a gigantic focus on my fitness or my health or weight loss. And the reason why I say that, I want to preface this, guys. I am not like the weight loss guru. I'm not the fitness guy. Like, that's not what I'm on here to do, right? But what I know is, many of you might be struggling with different aspects of your life, either weight loss or something regarding health or in your relationships or something. And what I actually found is I made much more progress on it by not stressing out about it than I did if I would have put a gigantic focus. What I found is there's a mindset shift. And I think that if I can share the story with you, you'd be able to get a lot out of this, whether it's for your own health or weight loss or anything else you're going through, even if it's like financial or relationship-wise or career, things like that. Does that make sense? So basically, like, I'll give you the brief overview of this. Years ago, when I was in college, I was an athlete. And I was a wrestler. I was in pretty good shape. I was really athletic, doing really good. I was working on getting like a six-pack, and I finally got it at one point. And things were really good, but then right after college, what happens? I got married. And that's, give or take, but, I kind of got comfortable for a while, settled in to habits, and I started gaining some weight. I didn't really identify with being an athlete anymore. But that's neither here nor there. But eventually what happened was simultaneously everything in my life it exploded, right? Do you guys ever see Tony Robbins? The wheel of life that he talks about, like health, wealth, relationships, free time, spirituality, all of that. And you got to kind of like make sure that the entire circle is round, right? It's like he says, imagine it's like the wheels on a tire, and like these are the different categories of your life, and you want to make sure they're all balanced so that way that the vehicle of your life rolls smoothly. Yeah, well, I had a completely flat tire, basically like within the course of about like a year and a half, everything in every aspect of my life, my health, wealth, finances, relationships, everything went down to a zero. I'm not trying to do the sob story here. Essentially what happened is I ended up losing my marriage. I had a business. I lost my business. I ended up in close to 6 figures worth of debt. And I was already, in the marriage. I had kind of let myself go a little bit, but now what was I doing? I was stress eating. Like that was my coping mechanism, right? My drug of choice was food at that point. And what happened was I ended up at the point where I was 80 pounds heavier than I am now. I was significantly in the obese category at that point. And I remember there was this whole part of my life where you won't see any pictures of me because I wouldn't take pictures with people. I wouldn't like want to look in the mirror. Like, I don't know if it's like a self-image thing or what, but I actually didn't realize it had gotten that bad until I saw it. And I was so embarrassed of it. Like I kind of like I just pushed it away. But anyway, does that make sense? But I found myself in a situation where I was in a brand new relationship, and I'm like, you know what? This isn't who I am anymore. I don't want to be this fat, obese guy. Like, the whole thing with my whole life, and maybe you're like this too, is you have a whole lot of potential, but you don't want your life to just be based on like good intentions and potential. You want to actually have the results in your life, don't you? And that's where I was at. I was like, I'm tired of being this guy with potential. I'm tired of being this guy that's like just there but not quite there. I want to figure this health thing out once and for all. And like I told you, it was every aspect of my life. My ex relationship tanked. It went to the whole thing burnt down. My finances tanked with it, right? So everything had been so bad, but the one thing I could control was my health. That was like a metaphor to me. If I could get my health back under control, I could get the other aspects of my life under control too. But what do we all do? What do we do on New Year's? What do we do when we start a new diet? What do we do when we're like, never again, right? What do? We create this big giant declaration. And I would do this all the time. I'd drive my girlfriend nuts. I'd be like, Jackie, today is the day that I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. and go to the gym for... But what would happen, probably what many of you guys go through, is you do it for a day, maybe a week, then you burn yourself out completely, don't you? And then you go back to your old habits. That's what happened to me. I would be the guy that would make a big giant declaration of today is the day, it's time to make it happen, have a lot of momentum, and then burn myself out and fizzle out. And I go, there's got to be a better way than this. And then through all of my, through all of my coaching and all the different things I've done, the personal development stuff I've done, I finally sat down and said, who am I being right now? Who am I being? And who do I want to be? What's the next level of who I want to be in my life? And I wrote it out. I'm like, well, he would be this way and he would be that way. And here's the habits he would do. Actually, I wrote out on a piece of paper who the ideal version of me would be. And here's the thing, it wasn't that I had to subscribe to a crazy diet. It wasn't that I had to go to the gym for 5 hours a day every day and be restrictive. It wasn't that. It was a very simple focus on a couple things, but there were two main things that I'll share with you here that I feel like you guys can use to change any aspect of your life for the better. The first one is I made a radical shift in my identity, who I believed myself to be. Okay, for years, I used to be an athlete, but in my marriage and as things fell apart, I started identifying as like the guy where like, hey, you're really good, but like bad stuff always happens to you. I kind of identified with my circumstances that things can't go well for me. So I was identifying with this disempowered version of myself. And the second thing was my habits, like, they weren't consistent at all. So the two things that I did, number one, is I go, who do I want to be and who was I when I was at my best? And the identity was simply like, hey, I am a wrestler, right? When I was a wrestler, I was in great shape. So I started identifying, okay, I'm a wrestler again. I'm a wrestler. I changed the identity of who I wanted to be. For you, that could be, I'm an in-shape person. I'm a healthy person. I am health conscious, whatever that is. You change the identity. Because when you change the identity, instead of forcing yourself to do diets or something like that, when you identify as a healthy person, or as, in my case, a wrestler or a bodybuilder or whatever, you start to remain consistent with the identity, and you automatically start to make decisions that are in accordance with that. Does that make sense? So it wasn't this pushing, like, today's the day. It was just very simply changing who I believed myself to be in my head. Not this woo-woo thing, just no, I'm a wrestler, I'm a bodybuilder, I'm a healthy person. Saying that to myself, and then I made the right decisions. And then the second thing that really helped me was I didn't put a big giant focus on it. It was a focus as in like I knew the weight goal I wanted to hit, and I knew I was going to be consistent. But what really helped me was just keeping very, very simple, very easy to maintain promises to myself. So here's what that would look like. It wouldn't be like, okay, you're starting the gym, you're going to go to the gym 5 days a week for an hour. It was so simple that like it would be an effort for me to fail. It would be, I'm going to go to the gym for 10 minutes for 3 days this week. Like, just so simple that I would have to keep that commitment to myself. I'd go to the gym for 10 minutes because it's just 10 minutes, no big deal. What would happen? I'd get in for 10, I'd stay for 20. Okay, cool. I'm going to go to the gym for 15 minutes, 4 days a week. Go in for 15, stay for a half hour, right? It's just, I wasn't setting big goals for myself. I was setting smaller goals to myself so I would know that I would hit it and I would remain consistent and I'd actually, surpass that. So those were the two really big things. Was number one, changing the identity of who I believed myself to be. And number two is setting small, really easy to follow habits that basically they're so small that it would be impossible to fail at. But the point I'm trying to make is this. What most of us do, what I do, what maybe many of you out there do, is you try to create a change in your life maybe by forcing it, right? I'm going to make the change. I got to push it. I got to make something happen. And it's a lot of effort. And what will happen is there's what you're used to doing, there's the conditioning, and then there's the change you're trying to make. Many times you'll fall back into the conditioning. It's like why New Year's resolutions don't work. But what you really want to do, and this is what really worked for me, and I want to share this with you, if you guys can change the identity of who it is that you believe you are, who you're identifying with in the moment. I am a bodybuilder, I am a wealthy person, I'm a healthy person, I'm this, I'm that. When you say I am and you create the identity, everything else in your life starts to align with what you're saying to yourself, right? So if you're on a diet, but you're saying, hey, I'm a fat person, no offense to anybody out there, you'll be on the diet, but the identity is I'm a fat person, this never works for me, you're going to go right back to going back to your old habits. If your identity is I'm a healthy person and you're on a diet, you'll maintain it much better. And if for some reason you have an off day, you go, no, that's okay, that's not who I am, I'm a healthy person, you'll go right back to it. Does that make sense? So you can use this for anything in your life, health, wealth, relationships, anything. But I wanted to share that with you today because I was thinking about that here today, and I think maybe this will help some people out there. So comment below, really curious, like if you got something from this, comment, let me know what it is, like let me know what maybe your biggest takeaway is from this, or maybe something that that kind of stuck out to you. And yeah, I'm really happy to be able to help you guys with this, and see you guys soon. But yeah, give me a thumbs up or a comment or something and let me know what you took from this, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.